I believe that we are all very aware of what has been happening over these past few weeks, and therefore we have to face reality. And the reality is that the government of the United States is not respecting international law and is creating tension like as never before, the transatlantic relationship between the United States of America and the European Union. And in the face of this, I believe there should be no doubt Europe must strengthen itself internally and also open up to other parts of the world. Strengthening ourselves internally means deepening the single market, enhancing our competitiveness, technology, but also cohesion, social unity and political unity. Of course, in the field of defense and security, fundamentally, what we need to do is invest better and together as Europeans. We need to demonstrate that strength, and for that, we need to move as one. And we have always defended, from the Spanish government, that if there is no unity among the 27 member states on this integration process, then let's do it at different speeds. But the time has come for Europe to make that decision to achieve integration in all those policies that can make us count and have weight and a clear and influential voice in a context is changing geopolitically, as the media have been reporting in recent days. I believe that is also why we have held this extraordinary European Council, to make it clear that Europe wants a world that is based on clear rules, on respect for international law, and therefore not on vassalages. A world governed, as I mentioned earlier, by international law, mutual respect, and cooperation. A world, for example, in which the future of Greenland is not decided by force, commercial threats, and much less by private money interests. The future of Greenland belongs to its people, their representatives, and, of course, the Kingdom of Denmark. And that is why Europe must prepare and will take the necessary measures to protect itself against any threat or any attempt at coercion. The first is that of unity and of solidarity and support for Denmark and the people of Greenland. From the member states in the European Union, we are not going to return to a past where, well, we played Monopoly, so to speak, with the territorial sovereignty of countries, where a price is put on the fate of thousands and thousands of citizens. Secondly, the firmness and unity of the European Union and its member states has also forced that the U.S. administration decides to take a step back, and I think it is also important to say this because we are the largest trading power in the world. I am referring to the entire European Union, and we must act as such in the face of coercion, the attempt at coercion. Clearly, I believe that Europe has the means to respond with due proportionality to this type of coercion. We do this primarily and fundamentally for coherence, for a consistent policy that the government of Spain has been deploying, particularly when we talk about the future of the Palestinians and of the Palestinian people, and therefore we do it in coherence and consistency with our commitment to the multilateral order, the United Nations system, and international law. And it is evident that this committee is outside the framework of the United Nations and, of course, has not included the Palestinian Authority, the future of Gaza and also of the West Bank. Let's not forget, the future as a whole of Palestine must be determined by the Palestinians, and also the future of their peaceful and secure coexistence with Israel must be fundamentally determined by Israel and Palestine in a negotiated process that implements the two-state solution, that allows the entry of humanitarian aid, and that of course guarantees peace between both countries. This evidently implies that Spain will continue to work and be committed to a peace process in which we have been working for 30 years.
Yesterday, we learned about a preliminary agreement between the NATO Secretary-General and President Trump. At the moment, there are few details, and I would like to ask if you trust it, if today you can rely on the United States and that agreement with Mayotte about which we still do not have details. And a second question about Spain's defense spending. President Trump this morning has once again criticized that he said something like Spain wants this to be free for them. He also said something like he will have to talk to Spain at some point. I would like to know if you're willing to speak directly with the President of the United States and explain why Spain will not increase beyond 2%.
I hope we can trust that indeed an agreement can be reached that satisfies the logical demands for sovereignty, respect for the territorial integrity of the people of Greenland, and also of the Kingdom of Denmark. And that is where I believe the entire European Union stands. The solidarity, the respect to international law, territorial integrity, and the national sovereignty of Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark, which, by the way, as I mentioned earlier, are the ones who have to decide about their future, not a foreign power. And if there is a legitimate demand for security in the Arctic, then indeed we have institutions, as you have mentioned before, such as the Atlantic Alliance, to articulate missions that address this legitimate concern that may be held by some ally country. Regarding the debate on the 5%, well, you already know my position, but I was recalling some of this for free. Well, Spain has tripled its investment in defense since I have been the president of the government. To give Spaniards an idea, with their taxes, we are allocating 34 billion euros a year to the defense budget in our country. 34 billion euros a year. Altogether, we are talking about investing more than 13 NATO countries combined. Almost 34 billion euros, more than 13 NATO countries combined. Therefore, I believe the figures are there, but I have also said it with total loyalty and with total clarity that the government of Spain, just as it strengthens its defense and contributes to collective defense and security, will not give up on strengthening public health care and education. Public, the national dependency system, social cohesion, ultimately in our country.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.